Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to the American GT Series at an American track. Today, the competitors will be doing battle around Road America. So it's not often in this series. I think there's 2 or 3 times this season where these guys get to battle it out on home turf, should we say, for a lot of these drivers. But today they are tackling Road America, which is, I think, one of the more maybe slightly understated tracks that we've got on the calendar. Provides absolutely fantastic racing. He's got another infamous corner on it with the kink, which is just, I mean, how many iRacing Twitch fail clips have a clip in of the kink? Whenever series go here, there's always something that happens there, and today these guys will be doing some battle around it. Ever been to Road America, Casey?
I have not. I lived up in that area there for a while, but I never did get the chance to make it up there to see it in person. But it's a great track. You know, it's got a lot of elevation changes, a lot of tight technical corners, fast sweeping corners. Like I'm watching Thomas Fisher go through here. So it's a fun track to drive, at least for me. And yeah, I think we're in for a really good race here. A couple of really good races here tonight.
Yeah, I do agree. When we got 2 30-minute races, obviously reverse grid with the second race. These guys will be starting in their class field. Pro in front and then Am in front. We do the qualifying in reverse, so we've got the Ams out there right now. We're on board at the minute with Tom Fisher as he goes past a rather beat-up-looking Porsche there in the gravel trap. But let's see what sort of time these guys can set the amateurs as we see on track in a minute. No one has set a time yet. I think it was Blake Scott was the first driver out on track in his orange Porsche, and then just behind him was James Pearce, and then behind that, Blake's father, Mark Scott, in the red Porsche, same sort of livery, and very reminiscent of what Mark Scott actually used to race. And Mark Scott was a pretty proud owner of an older 911. Forgive me for saying I don't know what category or what numbers it is, but it looked like to me like a sort of an early 70s, mid 70s one. But mind you, they kind of all even now they look similar to what they do. So we'll see what sort of times these guys put in as they cross the line. I think Mark Scott's going to be your first guy to set a time as he comes up onto the start-finish line. And he goes provisional pole, also provisional last as well, with a 2 minutes .908. So, and there's James Pearce. It's a 2 minutes .676. Not usually. I mean, James is an incredibly quick driver for his iRacing skill, and he's really sort of put a lot into iRacing in recent times. I think we've seen that in this series, but yeah, to only be a couple of tenths away from your leading Am is not bad at all. Mark Scott, obviously, Blake Scott's father has come across the line 6 tenths adrift. Blake has just taken it slightly wide and might have even got himself an off track there. But there is what's that, 3 1,000ths of a second between Mark and Eric Kalaga there. So Eric comes along the line with a 2:01.511. And Mark has got a 2:01.514. And Tom Fisher's that we see on the screen, I don't think has set a time as of yet, so we'll see what sort of time he puts in. And we'll see what the BMW can do. I think he's one of 2 of the only one of the 2 BMWs we've got in the Am field. What time does he set as he comes across the line?
I don't think he did.
No, I don't think he did either. I don't think he set a time.
He had an off track somewhere.
Must have done, yeah. So James Pearce, provisional pole, sitter at the minute with a 2 minute .676. Has any of the Ams got anything for James? We're going to see. Or is James just going to bash his own record out into submission as a slide coming up the hill there? You saw the back of the car moving round, hard on the brakes into the right out of the final corner. Don't want to run out too wide. Corvette looking very well planted. Very well planted indeed, as ever. And We see goes under the bridge. What time does he do? He does. He goes sort of just over 3/10 quicker than his previous time. And let's see, has anyone else got anything for him? Blake Scott is in the pits, so the only guy who sort of held a light to him is there. Mark Scott takes 3rd position at the moment. But what has Eric Kalaga got? There was a little bit of a, to only be 3,000 a second away from each other is a, it's not nothing. I don't even think you can blink your eye in 3,000 of a second. So let's see what Eric can do here as he comes across the line. A 2:01.485. That is going to be a battle that I want to watch. Those two guys there have set pretty much identical lap times on both of their qualifying laps. Michael Kalaga, he's in the pits. Brent Bavada is still out on track at the minute in that Porsche. There's a lockup from somebody in front of him. That's Tom Fisher off in the gravel. Tom will be starting at the back, and so will Brent. Brent puts it in the barrier, kicks it sideways. Oh, it's a write-off. God, that is one rather broken Porsche. Have we got any other AMs on track? We do. John Casey comes across the line with a 2:05.562. And other than that, I think that is all of our AMs all qualified up. As the call goes out to get our pro drivers to the end of pit lane. See what they do. So it's Kevin Brooks is first in line, followed by Taylor Lane. See Mac Miller with Full Send Racing just behind that. And then we've got Dan Tenorio. We got Andrew Houston. Andrew Houston is with us this evening. He's in the Twisted Corvette, not to be confused with James Pearce. Very easy to tell them apart. Andrew's running white wheels. James is running black wheels. So if you ever want a bit of information there, of a spotter's guide as to who's who. And then just behind that, Sean Campbell said he wouldn't be making qualifying from issues he had with his VR headset. But I think those have been rectified. We'll find out in a minute. When we send him on the track, he probably won't be able to see where he's going if he hasn't got them sorted. Call goes out to get the pros on track, and they Porsches scream themselves out of pit lane. Corvettes kind of, sort of hum themselves out of pit lane, and the BMWs kind of whistle themselves out of pit lane. Andrew Houston is sat there. Oh, now he goes. just as Sean's like, is he okay? Decides to go around him, and then Andrew decides to go and make a move. So here we go. Let's see what these guys can do. And let's see. Kevin Brooks, obviously, probably your man to watch here, it's going to be honest. But, let's see. We have two AMs that did not set any times in that last, in the AM qualifying. Tom Fisher and Kyle Brooks. Both of the BMWs didn't set a time. The only two BMWs in the AM field. And there's only one BMW in the pro field. It wouldn't be ironic if Sean doesn't set a time here. So none of our three BMWs managed to set a time. Some would say that's a little more than a coincidence. But let's see. Let's see what develops here. Kevin Brooks, obviously, running his red and black livery Corvette as ever. And then you've got the fiercely forward Porsche of Taylor Lane behind that.
We're missing one of our BMWs tonight.
James Armstrong.
Yes, thank you. I knew there was somebody missing. I couldn't put my finger on it.
Yeah, I messaged James. I mean, excuse me. It's 11 minutes past 1 in the morning. Sometimes, I mean, James Costa's not here as well tonight either. So, in the UK, we've been unleashed. The doors have opened. I went for my first pint of 2021. That was a moment to behold. Pubs and everything have been opened up in the UK. So, and we've got a car off there. So it was that was one of the twisted cars. That Dan Tenorio. Dan Tenorio managed to have a spin. Did he actually hit the barrier? Yes, he did. He clobbered it quite a bit as well. Well, let's see if it's going to make a big difference. I think we're going to get a replay on screen of what happened.
Yeah, that left front's wrinkled up a little bit.
Yeah, he seemed to have it. He was on the brakes, and then he just let go of the brakes and revved it up. You see here, he was on the brakes, then he let it go, and it's because he let it go, it then just rotated that a little bit more at the back, and made slight contact with the barrier, but I don't know, it shouldn't make too much of a difference unless he's obviously got steering damage. But again, he shouldn't have. You never know. You'll never know.
Yeah, it's been a little hard for me to wrap my head around the iRacing damage models here lately. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. So
yeah, there's I think it's I just, I think I cannot wait to have the new damage model on these cars. I think it's going to be great. We've got Andrew Houston, who's off on the grass, obviously on his first lap, but he will not be setting the time. But I think the new damage model, when it comes to these cars, is going to make the racing a lot cleaner. I think that's one thing that I'm really looking forward to. It's not the fact that, oh, look, there's a wheel flying through the air. It looks really cool. It's going to be the fact that you're only going to get one chance to do that. Because I think with the new damage model, if that was a real, if this car had that new damage model, and it was obviously, sensitivity was cranked up a little bit. As soon as you put it in the barrier, and Dan, and it.
Oh, we talked about it. We talked about that kink.
Yeah, there it is.
And it just bit him.
The kink claims its first victim, and it's Dan Tenorio, as it absolutely sends him into a very firm structural object there. Let's have a little look at it again. So good power as he comes out of here, holds it on. It's the corner that lasts forever, that one does, and then he gets it into the kink, gets it on the apex. What happens here? Does he touch the grass? It was gone before he really got off the apex of the corner, I think.
Yeah, he hit the curb just a little bit.
Yeah, if you can see here,
that curb on the left, I think, is what really upset the back of the car.
He didn't make it to the curb on the left. The car was gone just after the apex of the corner. So,
it does that. Especially if driving one of these cars, if you've got that rear wing really flattened out, not really doing anything for the back end, it'll do that around there in that kink.
Well, it did, and then you can see here. Oh, the back's going. It's gone. No, that's it.
Oh, and yeah, it's already gone right there.
He steers into it. He thinks he's got it, and then there's that moment of no, I haven't got this. And
at that point, you're just taking your hands off the steering wheel.
Yeah, he
close your eyes and.
He better have been wearing his hands device. That's all I'll say. Because if he hadn't, he'd have probably punched the headlights. Here we go with Taylor Lane. What's Taylor going to do? Taylor hasn't set a lap yet. Is he okay to set a lap on this one? Is he had any off track? I don't know. We'll find out. Going through the latter part of the track, up the hill here. I would hazard a guess he got an off track on his first lap because he hasn't set one. So.
Ooh, he was really close coming out of that last corner.
Yeah, he didn't leave any real room there. As he comes up the hill, let's see what he can do. Comes across the line, and it's a 2 minutes point 3. So that puts him second. Third overall, second in pro. So he's he's doing well. What's Andrew Houston got for us? Let's see what Andrew can do. Andrew's on his final efforts because I think he had a bit of an off on his first lap.
Sean Campbell improves on his first lap. Still third in pro, however.
Well, here we go. Does he do anything better? He's always a 2 minute point 6, not too bad at all. Just slots himself into 4th position. Does really well. Let's have a little look through and see if we've got anybody else out there. I don't think we have. I think that is everybody. We've got cars doing donuts, which is great to see. It's the third place. Oh, we're reversing down the straight. Okay, that's perfectly normal behaviour there. And
for a BMW, yeah, absolutely.
Sign him up, James Bond stunt double. Get him in there. He just needs missiles coming out of his lights and a J turn like that. Fantastic effort. Right then,
BMWs came standard with that.
They don't come standard with indicators, but they don't come. If you'd like to do the honours on the qualifying results.
All right, absolutely. So Kevin Brooks, no surprise here. He is your pole sitter in pro with a 159.932. James Pierce will lead the AMs to the green of the 2 minutes, .292. Taylor Lane, second in pro, 2 minute, .315. Sean Campbell, 2 minute, 499. Andrew Hewson with a 2 minute, .634. Blake Scott with a 2 minute, .908. Mac Miller with a 2 minute, .944. Mark Scott, 201.412. Eric Kalaga, 2 minutes or 201.485. Michael Kalaga with a 201.636. Brent Bravata with a 201.646. Steven Martinez next with a 201.834. Errol Urksoy with a 202.110. Jacob Heathcote with a 204.244. And John Casey is your last car to set a time here with a 205.562. So that leaves Kyle Smith, Dan Tenorio, and Thomas Fisher all failing to set a time in qualifying.
Yeah, Dan Tenorio just did not have a good time out there. I don't know what setup he's got in his car, but he all that was in a very, very expensive qualifying session. If that was a real car, I mean, he'd probably never be asked back again if it was a real car, would he? I suppose.
No.
That'd be. Do you want to just clear out your things and get yourself off for the day?
Yeah, it's, hey mate, we're good without you. You know, it's great having you, but thanks for trying.
We've made a conscious decision on behalf of the team that you're no longer with us. So get your things. Let's have a little look through here. We are going to take a very short little break just while we get the grid all sorted for race one. Obviously, setting these guys apart from the AM and the Pro field. So just when we get that sorted, we're going to take a little break. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. Casey, are you with me?
Yes, sir.
So we're getting ourselves loaded into the session for race 1, and obviously standard as we've seen a pattern throughout the course of the series to see Kevin Brooks on pole for the Pro, James Pearce on pole for the AM. But one thing I think it would be rude not for us to talk about as we have a little chats in the I can't even speak intermission period that we're having at the minute. Nürburgring 24. You're not taking part in it this year, are you?
I'm not. Yeah, I got some stuff that I'm doing that weekend. I'll be out of town. So, yeah, unfortunately, I'm gonna miss it this year.
Well, that's sad to hear. I think there's we'll be doing some testing this week, and just trying to work out really what car. I mean, we're GT3 fans, so what GT3 car was going to be the best? We've completely ruled the Audi out because.
It's entirely too unstable around there. You can't drive a twitchy car around there for 24 hours.
There'll be people that can get the most out of that car. There's no doubt about it. There's people that can get set up and they can drive well and they can set it up to be understeery and the back to be very neutral and get it going. We haven't cracked that, so that won't be happening for us. Pretty much all of my guys are wanting to run the BMW, but there's something about the Mercedes that I really enjoy. And you know what? It's pogo sticking around. It's kind of like the Ford. The front end just wants to jump about and, be excited all the time. But you know what? There's just something about it. The sound of it is wicked.
Oh, it sounds amazing.
And the BMW just kind of lacks that. It's just a bit, out of all the GT3 cars, I think it's probably the most stable. It's probably one of the most competitive. It's probably one of the quickest. But it's just a little bit, kind of needs some bit of spice sprinkled on it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just for me, and it's a fantastic car. Our races are very well with the representation of it. It's a car we haven't got yet, but I think it'd be a car that's going to be very, very popular at Nordschleife because it's a very stable and very, well planted car. But you've got to race it for 24 hours. I think I just want something a little bit more, blood pumping.
Something fun. Yeah, something that sounds fun. Something that's,
Yeah.
That BMW, it's fun to drive, but it sounds kind of like a vacuum cleaner. So
it has got that element about it. It almost sounds a little bit like the M8. It's got some of the characteristics, especially the off-throttle exhaust, sort of backfire, overrunny, whatever you want to call it. It's got some characteristics of that. But, I don't know, the Mercedes has just got this. It's a big V8, low revving. I think it only revs up to like 6k.
Yeah. The Mercedes. I mean, for me, it's always been. I won't say it's been my favorite GT3, but it's been one of those that I've never minded driving it, and especially around Nürburgring, because you really need a car around there that's stable. The track is hard enough as it is. You don't need to be fighting the car the whole time either. So.
No, and that you're right. I think it's a. I don't know. It's just it's a little bit floaty, and it's a little bit boaty because it's just big and wallowy. But you know what? There's some gorgeous sort of sidewaysy stuff that happens with that car. It's not like it's an uncontrollable slide. It's not snap oversteer like you get with Audis, you get with McLarens, or mid-engine car with McLaren maybe. It's this progressive sort of slidey characteristic of the car that is really, really just gorgeous to control. You can just, it just feels good. But I don't know. At the minute, we're all a little bit quicker with the BMW, and I think you've got to go with what you've got. What you've got stability-wise and pace-wise, and unfortunately for my guys at the minute, I say unfortunately for me, because I'd really like to run the Mercedes, but we're just, I think it's going to be the BMW we're probably going to end up going with, much as it plagues me to say that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it would be nice to have. I think last year they had the Ferrari on the list, and they've removed it this year. And it was the one car when VRS went to Nordschleife earlier on, I think it was this year, around the time of the Daytona 24, I gained an absolute stack of iRating, and I had a setup in that Ferrari around Nordschleife that was just bliss to drive. And I was really excited for N24 because I was thinking, I'm doing the Ferrari, and it's going to be good. And when I saw it wasn't on the list, I just kind of nearly had a little weep.
Right.
Yeah, I was just so gutted because I was like, oh, Ferrari and Nordschleife they just go together.
It is, and I love driving the Ferrari around the Nordschleife because of that. Because it reacts so well.
Yes.
You know, you can just flick it from one corner to the next. It does that little bit of a controlled slide. You never, for me, I never really felt like the car was out of control. So, yeah, it's an absolute blast to drive that car around there. And to me, it really is a shame that they're not going to have it, part of the NERB 24 this year.
No, it is. I think it is a bit of a shame, and but again, you've got to say it's the Nürburgring 24. Predominantly German manufacturers enter it. It's a German, obviously, big German endurance round. You know, you've got the 3 German representatives. Of course, we could always argue to a blue in the face that Lamborghini, as much as it is underneath the skin a very German car, still Italian. Ferrari's Italian. You know, you also got McLaren, which is British. So it's a case where you've got the German field really in GT3 of the Porsche. Sorry, the Porsche, if only the Mercedes, the BMW, and the Audi. So but I think we'll see over time as to what happens, and maybe next year we might see a return of some of the GT3 cars. Who knows? But I mean, it'd be lovely to be able to have, all of the GT3 cars, all the GT4 cars, and obviously the Porsche Cup and the TCR. But we're restricted on car numbers. It'd be really, like I said, it'd be really nice to be able to get some more, get some more cars of variety out on track together.
And hopefully that's something that iRacing can address in the future. Is the restriction on the different manufacturers or types of cars, because it would. I think it would make, especially the special events, it would make them a lot better. It'd make them even more special, in that aspect, I think. So.
Yes. Yeah, I agree with that.
That way you're not restricted to options as to what you want to drive, because I think, especially around that place, you would see, I think everybody's got their car that they like, and they would all end up choosing. I think you'd see all the GT3 cars get chosen by somebody at least.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a setup for the Lamborghini that we use at Spa when we won in the Chromatic 12 hours. And you know what? It probably feels amazing around there. It's super stable and it's super fast. The Ferrari, sort of super neutral, super stable, be a great car around there. A little bit understeer, maybe. Audi is probably one of my least favourite cars to take around the Nordschleife, just because I feel like I'm, hanging on to life the whole way around there. And yeah, obviously McLaren. To be fair, I've got to say, I think I'd actually pick the McLaren over the Audi. Again, nothing bad about the Audi, but But anyway, let's park that and let's have a look and see what happens here as we get the cars rolling. They are on a short parade lap, so they're going to come through. The pace car's going to peel off. AM's going to obviously leave a bit of a gap, and they're going to go up the hill, and the start zone is anywhere after the yellow markers on the pit barrier on the right hand side of them, all the way up to the start finish line. And Kevin holds them, and goes, and we get a green. And they are away into turn 1 as they approach the braking zone. It's sort of line of stern with Sean Campbell on the inside. They brake. Kevin has a little bit of a twitch there. You just see his car get ever so slightly upset.
Oh, Taylor, no.
Taylor Lane is just...
Oh, Taylor.
Oh, dear. Okay. Don't say anything. I can't bring myself to say anything right now. But let's Let's see what happens as they. We've got a bit of a mover in the AM field behind this. But anyway, let's stick with the pros for now. We've got Mac Miller coming under threat from Dan Tenorio. Dan Tenorio breaks a little bit later than Mac, gets up the inside. Not a lot of room. They go side by side up the hill. Oh, Mac, watch it. Oh, I thought there was going to be contact between him and the back of Dan Tenorio. Anyway, there wasn't, and they flick through this very fast right-hander and then drop down into a very slow left-hander. And we can see here the AM field, as that's James Pearce going well off track. Very unlike him to make a mistake like that. Nearly gets collected by Brent Bravada. What happened to James there? What happened to James? That is unlike him in every way.
He outbroke himself.
Let's just have a look. No, it wasn't. He
cooked it. He cooked it going into that left-hander.
I think he might have got wheel on. He might have got right-hand wheels on the grass, you know, because he just turns it. No, Jesus, that was a whole fistful of right-hand lot there, and I mean, yeah, he brings it back onto track fairly safely. Brent Bravada nearly collects him though. But anyway, let's. You know, he's already back up onto the back of Stephen Martinez. Sorry, Michael Calaga, apologies. We've got Stephen Martinez is the other Ferrari driver from Vulture Motorsports. A little bit of work to do now if he wants to do this or get this one in the bag. He's got Blake Scott, Mark Scott, and then he's got Michael Calaga in the red Ferrari to deal with. But he's just got to relax and get through it and see what happens. Is Taylor Lane still out there? Taylor Lane is.
He is.
I mean, if we can get Taylor Lane on the screen right now. Yeah. Taylor Lane has had a massive accident. I've just clicked on his car and he is nosed into a barrier. I think he. Yeah,
there he goes.
So anyway, let's get back to what's going on.
Taylor's had a rough couple of weeks here.
Yes, his patience has been.
That's all I'm going to say.
Taylor's patience has been put to the absolute limit. And you know what? I hate to say it, don't know particularly if there's much L or anybody, you know, to pinpoint and blame as such. I don't know. He's just not having a great time of competitive racing and iRacing. But we've got a potential battle for the lead as Sean Campbell is within half a second of Kevin Brooks. So they come up to look at completing another lap. It's a 2-minute lap around here, so it's not the shortest track we go on. Sean's looking to take points away from Kevin, so let's see what he can do about it. He's going to be in the slipstream as they go on to the start-finish straight. And we'll keep an eye on that as we stay with the battle here in the AM field. Michael Calaga in the Ferrari. James Pearce is closed up pretty heavily on the back of Michael Calaga. Looks to the inside, doesn't do it there. Tucks back in. Probably waiting to get a good exit out of here and try and get him up the straight. And let's see if the Corvette has got anything for the Ferrari as they go up across the start-finish line. Is he alongside? No, he is not alongside. He's nowhere near alongside. The Ferrari's got such good straight line speed, but closes up to the back of him, gets the car out of shape, nearly puts it in the barrier. That's job done for James. That's third. James has got it. He's just trying everything here. Michael Calaga closing up to the back. He's going to have a look down the outside.
Kevin Brooks sideways into the barrier.
Oh.
While you were commenting on that battle in AM, I kept an eye on the battle for the lead here in Pro. Kevin Brooks coming out of that sweeping right-hander just loses it. Oh, no. Yeah, he's done. Car's crabbing.
Yeah, that's finished. That's going to be a no point scored on this one. What happened here then? I didn't see this, so I'm looking at this for the first time. Oh, Bang. Yeah. No, that's that. Not the heaviest to contact with a barrier, but it's hit it in a way that's bent.
Right. Yeah, it hit it just in the right spot, and it absolutely broke the steering on that car.
I think. Oh no, you know what it is? There's a little bit of barrier that sort of juts out a little, and he's caught it right on the corner, and it's the rear damage that's done that. So as he's hit the rear of the car on that barrier, it's then just bent everything there. I think it's done more structural damage to the rear than it has to the front end. But that gives Sean Campbell what could potentially be a nice, simple path to victory there. And obviously, Andrew Houston, we've got the two twisted cars behind of Andrew Houston and Dan Tenorio. And yeah, well, they're going to be absolutely over the moon. Everybody else in pro is going to be pretty chuffed with that result. Kevin Brooks dropping down the order. Did I see another car in the barrier in the gravel trap there? I'm just flicking through. Don't know if I did. Might just be me going mad. I want to say I definitely saw another car off there. No, maybe I didn't. Maybe I didn't. We've got Andrew Houston on the screen now. Oh, but James Pierce puts all the left-hand side of the car off onto the dirt as he came out of the kink there. That was a little bit of a moment for him on the previous lap. He's managed to catch himself back up onto Mark Scott. Back of that Corvette is moving around a massive amount. You see it sliding as he comes out of here. He's got to be careful with this because that car does not look very happy underneath him. It looks twitchy mess. So let's see what we can do.
I've said it before, that Corvette, it does not like cold tires. And even, working lap 4 here, coming to lap 5, those tires still will not be all the way up to pressure.
No, so they will not.
He's got to be careful here not to end his race early.
Yeah, and James is currently going to pick his moment on Mark Scott. Just pick the right time to do it. But we've got an upset in the pro field. Will we see an upset in the AM field? I don't know. Let's keep your eyes on the screen. Corvette versus Porsche. What's the Porsche got in a straight line for that Corvette? He's closing. Doesn't do it. Catches right up onto the back of that Corvette. Still, it's moving round. Sorry, he catches right up to the back of the Porsche, should I say.
Yep, I'll look for him to try and get a run coming out of turn 2 here.
I think he has. I think he's got a bit of a run.
Yep, use some of this draft here. Close up right alongside of him. See if he can outbrake him going down into 3 here. Looking. He's going for it.
No, he's not. No, he's not. He comes
close enough.
He's back in.
Ooh, oh, Mark, little bit tail happy there, putting the wheel off.
Yeah. Just stay with this. I think.
Oh, James!
He's lost it. Is he?
Oh, he saved it.
Oh my
gosh!
He so nearly did what Kevin did. That is unbelievable.
Oh man!
My God! If that was like he's got to turn it down now. He's, I hate to say it, third is better than finishing last. Because if he doesn't finish within 2 laps of the leaders, he's not scoring anything. If he puts that car in a barrier, he's not scoring anything. He puts wheels on the dirt, he's got to calm down. Can hear a Porsche screaming away behind him. That's Brent Bavada. And Brent is on the bitter edge. He's trying everything.
He's trying to get to James, because I know that Brent's got to be fuming. Because that's twice the that James has rejoined the track right in front of him. Yeah, James just needs to kind of settle it down just a little bit, hit your marks. He knows he's quicker than the cars in front of him. Just let the race come to him now.
That was so nearly it. I don't think I've ever seen anyone so nearly put a car in a wall
and not do it,
and not actually put it in the wall. It was unbelievable. That was. You know, a lot of people say, "Oh, it's great save, well done." You know what would have been great? Not doing it in the first place. Correct. And that, you know, yeah, all right, it was a great save, but you know what? You put yourself in that position. You know, I hate to say it. A great save is like if somebody hits you and you've got no control over that, and then you save it. That's a great save. It's out of your control. Just don't put your car on the grass. It's just a simple equation. Grass and, you know, slick tyres at, you know, max 3 or however fast they're going around here. Never really a good combination. Kevin Brooks, you know, give us a very prime example of that. Oh, where did he? I know it was over here. Sorry, I got confused. Kevin. You see
it
that?
Was almost the exact same spot as where James went off track there.
Yeah, yeah, I can still hear that Porsche in the back. Brent is not. When James puts it out sideways again on the exit of the corner. He is driving like a peed off teenager right now, which I hate to say is not a million miles away from what he actually probably is. So, but that Porsche is not far away from the back end of James. He might even have a run. Brent might even put a move on James Pierce into turn 1. Let's see. Does he look? He looks.
He does.
There's a slow car on the right-hand side. Stephen Martin. Oh. Jeez. It's a wheel on the grass again. This is getting a little bit wobbly here. And again, kicks up some dirt. I mean, you know.
The groundskeeper here, you know, at Road America is not going to be very pleased with James.
He's left. He's had enough. Through his trowel.
Oh,
dear.
And that's it.
And that was a monumental lockup, and James is... Oh, dear. He goes to the move to the inside, and he just locks up. Yeah.
Now there was a moment there also, it looked like, between Thomas Fisher and James. What happened here?
Yeah, it's a bit
Thomas
of an
Fisher completely overcooked turn 3. No, wasn't a moment between them. It looks like Thomas just ran way wide at 3.
Well, I mean, James has got to finish the race. Has he got damage? Has he got steering damage? Let's have a... I don't think he's going to have. Let's have a little look.
No, looks like it's tracking pretty straight. He's definitely going to be off the pace, but...
Well, he has to finish. There's no two ways about it. He has to finish this race. I don't know if it is, you know.
Brent Bravada off in the grass at Canada Corner, and he resets.
I think James' car is crabbing ever so slightly. I don't think that is at an angle it should be.
Yep, Brent Bravada drove him way too deep at Canada Corner. Nosed it straight on into the barrier through the kitty litter.
Yeah. I think he's all right. Well, it's been a very eventful race at round 1 at Road America. Never ceases to bring out some of the best battles and some of the biggest upsets. Sometimes we got car off in front in the Anfield. What's gone on there? Was that Eric Calaga doing some? Yeah, it was. Eric Calaga had a trip to the gravel trap.
You know, this place, I hate to say it, but it's so inviting for you to try and just push just a little bit deeper into the corner, you know, as you get further and further into the race.
Yeah.
You're trying to find where's that limit in the braking zone. And as soon as you go over it, you're done. There is no, there's really not a whole lot of runoff in a lot of these corners.
No, you're right.
To gather it back in, and I think that's one of the biggest problems that these guys and really anybody who races around here, especially on iRacing. I think that's one of the problems that people run into. It's so easy to make that mistake.
It's a weird one. I a lot of tracks, there's a few. I think a lot of tracks have corners where on exit there's a bit of grass or there's something like that. But here it's every corner, and they're very high speed. And if you've got a car that's not handling too good, whereas James is clearly not having a good day in his Corvette out there, it's just one of them tracks where at the end of every rumble strip there's just grass and there's just dirt. And, I mean, what do you do with that? You touch it and it just kills you in iRacing, and that's pretty accurate really, because the minute you put a slick tyre to a point where it's not going to grip anymore, your car will be facing the wrong way. But it's not like Spa or Silverstone where you've got stacks of runoff and you can just, you can take a 1x. It's like it's grass and then
death.
Yeah, immediate. Yeah. So there's no question there. So no, what's James going to do? There's two things that James can do here. He can push that car, and I'm pretty sure in the 12 minutes we've got left, he's probably going to put it in a very well. I don't think he'll finish the race if he tries to push it. Or he can just accept the fact that where is he now? He is 5th or 6th, and go with it. Do you know what I mean?
6th. Yep. 6th, and he's got Thomas Fisher closing in hot behind him.
Yeah, he's just put a move on Tom. I don't know if Tom's got much in the way for him, but we'll see. Clips the dirt again. He's got to be careful, because he's just going to do what Kevin did otherwise.
Oh, Tom, big lockup right behind James.
Tucking tyres there. Wow.
And that James he's got to address the setup on this car between the two races here. The back end of that Corvette is just all over the place. I know that he likes driving the car right on the edge of control, but there's a point where
he doesn't know where the edge of the car is at the minute. It's,
yeah.
I think or the edge is way too close to. Do you know what I mean? It's where. So I mean, I like a car that moves around a lot. I always have done, and it's always nice to feel like you're sort of on the edge with it. But it's just too much. He's not comfortable in that car. He's lost positions. He's got pace. Great.
He's just about spun it out of Canada corner there.
I think you're a little bit behind.
I am. Yes, I am.
Very much so. I did it last week. So it happens.
But yeah, I don't know. If it was me, I would not want to be driving that car, sideways like that every single corner.
It's just heating up the rear tyres constantly, and then you'll get to a point where they're that hot that you won't catch it back. It'll just go, and then you won't be catching it. Or you'll put a wheel off the grass, or put a wheel off the road, should I say, and put a wheel onto the grass and lose it. But he probably is driving right now thinking he needs it because of the championship course.
Yeah. Yes and no. I mean, you got to look at the big picture, though.
He's got 6 seconds to make up on Eric Kalaga. What can he get out of this? If he can get anything more than a 5th, I think he'd be doing all right. But it could very easily, a 5th could be turned into a 0 in the blink of an eye if he carries on pushing a car that clearly does not want to be pushed. See him again as he comes out of there. little sideways stuff. Yeah, I'm just, forgive the silence, I'm just watching this car move around going, you've just got to accept that maybe 5th is the way you've got to be. The more he pushes it, I think the more he puts himself at risk of coming off it altogether. Yeah. But he's got 8 minutes left, and he's took, his last lap was a 2:01.4, 2:02 dead from the car ahead. 6 tenths he took out of Eric Kalaga in the Ford. Then it's Stephen Martinez, who I think is a lap down. Then it's Michael Kalaga, and then you've got Blake and Mark Scott up in front of him. And they're not doing too bad in the points either.
No, he's pushing. He's trying to get there, but again, that car, one, the car's damaged. Two, it wasn't handling all that great to begin with. So, or at least it didn't look like it was handling all that great. So.
Yeah, well.
All right, so. Oh, Steven Martinez off into the barrier. There'll be a spot that James could possibly pick up.
He's a lap down, is Steven.
Oh, see, yep. I'm having all kinds of blonde moments.
Don't worry about it. See Martinez, yeah. Hey, little brush. That's not the end of the world. Goes through the kink. You get an onboard shot of the big BMW with Tom Fisher. Let's see what's going on in the pro field up ahead. Have we got anything happening there? Andrew Hewson and Dan Tenorio are not too far away. Mac Miller's obviously had a few moments and dropped back quite a bit. Currently actually being caught down by Blake Scott. And then Sean Campbell out all on his own about 4 seconds up the road. I don't think either of those two have got anything particularly for Sean Campbell. So Sean potentially could be looking at a first race win in the American GTE Series, I believe. Am I right in saying? Or did he win? No, he won Silverstone.
No, he won last week.
Yeah, he won Silverstone. Apologies.
So, yeah, and I'll tell you, looking at the attitude of his car, it kind of looks like he's just out for a Sunday drive.
Yeah, he's got that quite well planted, and he seems to be quite happy with it.
There's something about that BMW now that I think ever since they've done the Season 2 build, I think it's got to be one of the better cars GTE now. It's always had the pace. It's always had that raw power, but the car looks like it's handling very well again.
It's to get up and go out the corners that the BMW seems to have quite well.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's always had that, though.
Yeah, we can see Dan Tenorio there in the Porsche, highest ranked Porsche at the minute. Andrew Hewson is looking to take a second position. He can get the car across the line with no problems. Not a Corvette-friendly track. You find it strange, really. Road America, American track. James Pierce is catching.
Yeah. He is. Yeah, he's taking stacks of time out of Eric Kalaga here.
He is indeed. But he's just had a little moment on the on that last lap. He's brought the gap down to Eric Kalaga to just under 3.5 seconds. So
he wants to prove me wrong.
Yeah.
My hat's off to him if he can do it. If he can get there, then all the better for him. I just don't want to see it end up in a barrier for him. That's all.
No, it'd be a shame, and it would certainly make the top flight of the AMP Championship quite tasty. We'll start giving you more live updates on the next round as they happen on track. We'll get some spreadsheets up and things like that, and as the positions change, we'll be able to tell you which will start on the next round. Obviously, drop rounds come into effect here. We have a 1 week drop round where they do not score any points in said week.
So I think looks like Kevin Brooks might be using that drop round this week.
Yeah.
That race 1 exit. Depends. He had a rough week last week too, though.
Yeah. Well, he got, what was it, 4th and a 5th, I want to say.
Yeah. Well, I mean that's pretty uncharacteristic for him.
James's car just moving around all the time. Crosses the line probably this lap plus another. So he's probably going to get the white flag on the next lap. We'll see whether he does or not. I believe he should do. So this should be the penultimate lap he's on right now. Puts it into turn 1. Apex on the inside. Runs it all the way out to the rumble strip on the left-hand side. Brake hard. Apex to the corner. Back moves around again. You can see the back of the car just on exit. Moving around. He's really trying to get onto the back of Eric Kalaga. Trying to take some valuable points for his championship cause. He's got 2.3 seconds to that Ford up ahead. Can he get to him? If he can get to him, what can he do about that Ford? More thinking that if he carries on pushing the way he's doing, probably got a higher chance of not finishing at all. But let's see. This is where his fellow Corvette driver Kevin Brooks put it very firmly into the barrier. He's just gone past that point.
Sweeping carousel here. Nice and tight up against that inside curb, all the way out to the outside. Oh,
Jesus.
good Lord. He's pushing.
He's really
Absolutely pushing.
to go. Oh my God. What is he doing?
He's driving like a man possessed.
He's trying, yeah. I gotta say, it's good to watch, but I just, yeah, we'll see as they come across the line. Should be the white flag lap this time, by, and it is indeed.
And it is.
You see how the starter there waving the white flag. So he's got 1 lap to make up how much time, sort of a second and a half.
He took a second out of him last lap, so
2011. Eric Kalaga ahead, 202 dead, 0.9 of a second. He's going to need some serious draft or something. He's going to
have that.
He's got to get to the Ford. He's then got to get around the Ford. Well, even if he doesn't finish, he's still going to finish in the points because he's within, obviously, 2 laps of the class leader. So, we'll see. Oh, Jesus Christ. He's doing guys, God.
He's trying not to finish.
He's trying really hard to put this car into oblivion, I think. Catching the whole time. Oh, what's the gap now?
About 10 car lengths, I think, is the gap.
It's about a second.
Eric's pushing now just a little bit.
Well, you can't blame him. I think he gets the kink pretty well sewn together. He's catching. He's in the draft here. Is there anything he can do? Let's see. Into the brakes, into the right-hand of Canada corner. Leaves 11s on the road again. All the 11s on the
3
road.
car lengths.
Yeah, it's a do or die on the last corner. Has he got anything for him? Looks to the
He's
outside.
gonna
Eric
send
Corliss
it.
off the inside. It's going to be a drag race as they come out the hill. James gets the run on him. Oh,
Is he gonna have enough? No,
Oh,
I think that Ford's just gonna outrun him.
yeah, Ford's just managed to get there, and there you have it. Wow, that was a fantastic drive from James just to get back onto that Ford. But I can tell you now, whatever setup he's got in there, get it in the bin, because that was
Delete.
Alt F4, delete, empty recycle bin, take the hard drive out, put a big magnet on it, and put it in the bin. That was not a very pleasant looking car. Let's talk you through your results as they come in. There's still a couple of cars out there to finish, but they should finish in this order. We've got Sean Campbell, your winner of the race and winner of Pro, followed by Andrew Hewson, Dan Tenorio, and Mac Miller round out your top 4 in Pro. And then your first place, Blake Scott. Well done, Blake. Really good drive. Flawless drive, if anything. And going down the order, we've got Mark Scott, Michael Kalaga, Eric Kalaga, James Pierce with the white knuckle ride, to say the least, and Tom Fisher, Errol Urixoy, John Casey, Stephen Martinez finishes a lap down, Jacob Heathcote 6 laps down, Brett Bravada 8 laps down, Kevin Brooks 12 laps down, and Taylor Lane 14 laps down. Well, that was one hell of a race. I mean, for reasons that I don't know what to say. It was just so strange watching James having to try and keep that car in a straight line was weird. Almost.
Yeah, well, James, Kevin, I mean, a lot of our guys that are typically up there towards the front, they were having problems. They were struggling. So
not a Corvette-friendly track. We'll go to race 2 here very shortly, and just while we get that grid all sorted out for you, we're going to take another short little break. We'll be back with you in just over a couple of minutes, and be back to bring you race 2 as it happens. So don't go anywhere. Well, you can go anywhere. You can grab yourself a cup of tea or something like that, and we'll be back with you very shortly. action as it happens live. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. We are ready to bring you all the action as it happens live in race 2. And after race 1, well, I mean, if the Corvette drivers haven't done something drastic with their setup, they need to. It goes without saying that we saw our pro leader, our pro championship leader, not having the best of times out there, because he managed to snap every bit of rear suspension in that car. And James Pierce, our AM leader in the Corvette, was having an absolutely woeful time as well. Andrew Houston was about the only guy I think who did particularly well in the Corvette. So, I mean, Andrew obviously got something working with his car. He's got it feeling pretty good. I'm a little bit out of touch maybe of these cars. I couldn't tell you. I've not done any laps in the Corvette to tell you what was right or wrong with it. I just think the nature of it. To me, I don't think the Corvette's a very good high-speed car. I don't think it suits very well at high-speed cornering and things like that. I might be wrong, but I ran it at Le Mans in a 6-hour race a couple of months ago. It just didn't really like the high-speed stuff. I mean, forgive me.
No, I think you're pretty dead on there. It's a car that it likes the tight, technical, twisty sort of tracks. At least on iRacing, I mean, obviously in the real world they've got, the geniuses at Corvette Racing, Pratt and Miller, that are just absolute engineering gods. They set up the cars to do whatever they need them to. But, here on iRacing, things a little bit different than the real world, but Corvette, for whatever reason, it doesn't seem to like the fast flowing tracks all that much. So it seems like with the Corvette anyways, you've got to set it up right on the very edge of control in order for it to be fast. But then that makes it a lot more of a handful. So we'll see what these guys can do with race 2, though. They're going to have their hands full. They definitely got a job in front of them. So see how Kevin and James can react to race 2.
Yes, we shall, and we hope them the very best of luck, and hopefully they manage to find some form of setup that doesn't involve them facing the wrong way. There is one small thing, though, which could bring into effect is track temperature. And I don't know what it was in the last session, forgive me, I didn't look, but what it is right now, it's 105 degrees Fahrenheit. And in my money here on the opposite side of the pond, it's 41 degrees Celsius. It's a hot track.
Yeah, that's, I think, oof.
These
These guys that were struggling in race 1, they're really going to be struggling in race 2.
Yes, they are. They very much are. So we'll have to see what happens with this one. But this could be the drop round for a couple of these guys.
Yeah, Thomas Fisher, I think he's finding out just how slick that track is. As he goes wide there, it looks like at turn 2. Slides the back of the car out and off into the kitty litter he goes.
Indeed.
John Casey going for a spin there.
Forgive me, say that again, sir?
I just said John Casey was just going for a little spin.
Oh, okay. So we have just under 4 minutes to go. Excuse me. Forgive me. I've just.
All right. I'm kind of surprised you're not out at the pub drinking.
No, we won't be doing that just yet. I've got to limit it. I mean, you know, I know it's a novel thing for us to go and have a beer in this country because we've not had a beer for 6 months. I did tick that box the other day. Stopped by my local one. I had a Swift pint. It was utterly fantastic, and I could have stayed there for the foreseeable future. Just, you know, spending a lot of money, but no, it's. I think, you know, I don't know. It's like a novelty. I saw a lot of people when I went and had my. It's always like a ritual thing where you have to go and have a beer now the pubs are back open. I just saw a lot of people drinking beyond their means, and yeah, don't want to be that guy. Don't want to be the guy doing handstands, or, you know what I mean, something really weird like that. Oh, not like I can, but, you know, I don't want to be that guy that tries to do a handstand. And I saw a guy doing the worm as well, which is obviously a very famous dance move. One that, you know, obviously needs to be done in a beer garden on a Monday night.
So now that you guys are pretty much, I'm assuming you guys are pretty much open back up now.
Yeah.
What is the concern like over there for that triggering another wave?
I think it's there. I think everyone's a bit worried about it. But you know what? I think it's almost gotten to the other side of the point where it's like, for the last year and a bit, everyone's just been. I think everyone's just peed off with it all. They're just going. Just life needs to either go back to normal, but it's no either. It just has to. It has to.
Yeah. No, I mean it's not like this is going in. Yeah, I think, in my very uneducated opinion, I don't think this isn't something that's just going to go away. It's not going to be just a flash in the pan. It's, I think, kind of going to be like the flu from here on out. It's just there. So.
Yeah, I know, and it's yeah, I mean, you know, it goes without saying, we'd obviously prefer it not to be there, but you know what? Life has to go on. You can't, and you know, we all can't just spend our lives staring out the window all day long. As you know, and it's good moments, yes, and it's great moments where I could do, you know, 10 VRS races in one day, but you know, it just doesn't bode well for future, does it?
No.
Your economy's sitting stagnant. Shops aren't open. You're not generating tax. You're not generating income, and you know there's only so much of that as a country it can physically handle. So, but you know that's big picture stuff. Small picture stuff. Pub was open. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. You know, it was fine that I got to see a man doing the worm at 4:00 on a Monday afternoon. That was perfectly fine. It was a nice beer to have, and
no, but yeah, all things aside, I'm happy that you guys are able to go do that again.
Yeah, thank you very much. I'm pretty happy as well. It was getting
It's no, I know exactly what you mean. Things need to start getting back to normal just a little bit.
You know, when your TV flashes up that you've completed Netflix. You know, that's need to go and find something else to do right there. When you've rearranged the loft for the 46th time, and you know, all your cups and saucers and plates have all got names now. You know that you're running out of things to do. Yeah, it's weird. You think of these things to do in lockdown. When I was in lockdown, and you go, "I wish I did that." And then now they're not done. They won't get done at all.
No, it's over.
Yes, it's done. Yeah. But yeah, let's press on with the job in hand. Which, as we know, these guys are just setting up for their short parade lap, and the AMs are just behind them.
Mac Miller going to lead the field to green here. Porsche pace car pulls away off into the pits. To the hands of Mac Miller. And he holds, and green. Side by side for second here. Looks like Dan Tenorio and Andrew Hewson Gonna decide who gets into turn 1 here.
Well, we can see Sean Campbell. They're just itching for a way round.
Oh, Andrew Houston!
Oh, he got clobbered. Yeah,
Oh,
he got
no.
clobbered. He got absolutely mullered there. And what happened
there?
Yeah, I think he was just sideways and
Yeah, he rode a little too much of that curb. He got a little too much of that inside curb, and it just upset the back of that car.
He did, yes. And there's James Pierce. He's just had a bump with Errol Uriksoy there. What happened? There was contact between the two. Errol didn't know he was going up the inside, and I think James just got turned in on.
Well, Errol looks like he got a little bit of a punt from behind.
Oh no! And that definitely is a punt from behind as Andrew Houston gets it all locked up and plows straight into the side of that Ferrari. Oh dear. Andrew.
Oh boy. Yeah, Andrew's not having a good first lap here.
No, he really is not. Oh dear, this is not going well for Andrew Houston in the pro field. But it's played out very well for James Pierce. He currently finds himself in second place, hopefully with a bit more downforce on that car. So what a lively first lap we've had.
Yeah, and all this excitement has allowed Stephen Martinez to build up a pretty significant gap here.
As indeed. And he's got Michael Kalaga, which splits them down the middle. Blake's got in 4th position, and we know Blake's quick round here in that Porsche, as long as he can keep it facing the right way. But we've got a big track temp at the minute, so let's see if that has a big thing to play into it. The cars are going to feel very differently to what they did in race 1 on the qualifying session. Yeah, that's where the track was a lot cooler. I think it was probably 25 to 20 degrees Celsius. I think that's probably maybe between 80 and 90 in your money.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a fairly...
Yeah, it was a lot colder in race 1 than here we got in race 2, so...
Was indeed.
Keeping an eye on things in the pro field here. Pretty strung out. Yeah, everybody 1st through 5th. Got a nice, decent gap between everybody here. Kevin Brooks still not really made up any ground. Kind of just hanging out on the back of Sean Campbell.
Yeah. He is, and Taylor Lane has managed to get himself, find the inner motivation to put his rig back together after smashing it up, probably, and himself back out there. There we see back of the pro field into a left-hander and then into this carousel turn, which is the one just after. And this is a turn that just feels like it takes forever.
Forever, yeah.
James Pierce drops the wheel onto the grass. I'm with James Pierce. I want to see if he's managed to get that car any more stable than what it was. But he's just put a wheel on the grass, so it makes me think that maybe not. But let's see as the race progresses. He has caught up rather well and rather smartly, should I say, to the back of Stephen Martinez. Comes through the kink.
Back of that Corvette's already sliding around just a little bit.
It is indeed. Or the back of that Porsche with Matt Miller, and it's sliding around because he's just put a wheel off the track. And that's Dan Tenorio going for a spin. What happened there? Let's see what we can see. What happened there? We get a replay on your screen. He's side by side with Matt Miller.
Yeah. Mac looks like just got into him.
Very easily done.
They were side by side going through that corner, and it looks like, I don't know, maybe if it was netcode or if Mac actually got into him a little bit, but that's what sent him off. Such
a tricky corner to go 2x2. I think there was a little bit of netcode in there. It seems like there was quite a big chunk of daylight between the two cars, but they're fairly close. Anyway, James Pierce is looking to put a move on Stephen Martinez. Doesn't get it done. Yeah, I think there was a bit of netcode, but netcode give us and take away. Yeah, but it's given and taken away there.
6 inches.
Dan's out there all on his own now. Second to last, I believe. Andrew Houston quite far away down the pecking order after his mistake that he made. James trying to get up the inside of Stephen Martinez in the Anfield for the lead. Stephen Martinez runs that Ferrari wide, cuts off the line. Lets him go. So, nice move there. Doesn't want to hold this this field up any more than he really wants, or has to, should I say. So we have a change in winner or leader, should I say, at the minute.
Yeah, and a change for second place as well. Michael Kalaga just got around the car, Stephen Martinez.
Yeah, well, they are teammates, so probably a little bit of a, you know, Sebastian is quicker than you in his ears. But let's see what James can do. Does James just drive off into the sunset, get his gap, manage his distance, get his pace, and do it in a controlled manner rather than this, you know, overexcited puppy on its birthday, which has been what's happened before with the back of that Corvette just wiggling around all over the place.
All right, change for position in pro. Sean Campbell gets around the Porsche Mac Miller.
We've got Taylor Lane up in the front of the minute. Taylor's probably pinched himself thinking, what the hell is going on here?
Yeah, I think we're about to have a pretty good battle up here in pro. Kevin Brooks right behind Mac Miller now. And then Sean Campbell's looking at the back of the Porsche Taylor Lane.
Three-way tie for the lead in the pro field. It's Matt Miller, it's Porsche, BMW, Porsche. It's Matt Miller looking at the back of a BMW with Sean Campbell, who is looking at the back of a fiercely forward Porsche, a 911 GT RSR. Sorry, not the GT, it's an RSR car. So they come round this everlasting kink here, this everlasting right-hander into the kink tail lane, leading a race. Who'd have thought that? Kevin Brooks not too far behind at all, though. Kevin obviously did. Oh, Taylor's done it again. We're on the
Dan
grass.
Tenorio as well. So Taylor Lane and Dan Tenorio. Both.
Taylor Lane just altered for.
What happened to Taylor?
He just put a wheel on the gravel and it went around and nosed him into the barrier. But that is a very Dan Tenorio. He's had an absolutely massive accident again, like he did, I believe, in qualifying or the practice session, and he's put it right in the barrier. See here. Oh, yeah, that'll do it. Yeah, not good news, but we go back with the battle. Here, up the front, Sean Campbell versus Matt Miller versus Kevin Brooks. It's BMW, Porsche, Corvette. We've got three different manufacturers, and you could throw a blanket over all of them. Let's see what happens here. On the brakes into the left-hander. I'm sure that Matt Miller is spinning like a rose between two thorns at the minute, but he's holding his own in the full Sen Racing esports car.
It's a bit interesting. Sean Campbell was able to get around Mac Miller pretty easily, but he has not been able to get away from him.
No, that's a good point. Maybe aerodynamics is playing a big part of it. Maybe there's just a few sections of the track where Sean knows he's got it. Not sure.
Yeah, well, that BMW punches a huge hole in the air as well, so I'm sure that's definitely helping Mac Miller out for sure. Here we go. Just a car link, not even a car link, separating these three as they come out of the final corner here. Kevin Brooks all over the back of Mac Miller now.
Michael Kalaga goes wide.
Side by side, Kevin Brooks around the outside of Mac Miller. He's going to clear him before we even get down into the braking zone. Move Kevin Brooks up into second place. Now closing in on the back of Sean Campbell.
So we just got all these exits and entries right there, I think, and manages to get around Matt Miller before we even get to the apex of the corner.
Yeah.
Great move. Yeah, it's a good move there by Kevin Brooks. You know, minimal sort of should we say energy needed there. Kind of went for it and it worked. So
yeah, had the nice draft, nice toe off the back of that BMW going around the outside of Mac Miller there on the front stretch. Definitely helped him get that pass done.
Indeed.
He's hanging about 2 to 3 car lengths off the back of Sean now as they go through this turn that just never ends. Down into the kink. Sean Campbell using up every inch of racetrack at the exit of the kink there.
We got Brent Bravado, Blake Scott all over each other here. A couple of Porsches having a decent go. Orange, it's red Ferrari versus orange Porsche.
Oh, Blake, hang on to it.
What happened with Blake? Did he have a moment through that?
He did. He went way wide at the exit of the kink. I thought he was going to go off into the concrete barrier. Managed to save it, but Brent Bravado gets around him at Canada Corner. Blake, though, looking back to the outside here, not going to be able to get there.
No, it's not. It's going to take an astonishing pair of knackers to get past somebody around the outside of there.
So move Brent Bravado up now. That should put him third. Damn. Blake, he's not done yet. He's looking down to the inside of turn one, side-by-side contact. Wow. Oh, Brent off into the kitty litter just a little bit. Loses a lot of time, though. That was very costly for Brent there.
Was indeed. Actually, it's like
checking in.
It's not happy.
Go ahead. No, no. No, you can't blame him. Checking in on the battle of the front. Still about 4 car lengths separating our 2 leaders, Sean Campbell and Kevin Brooks. Kevin just kind of keeping him in his sights right now. Watching, waiting for Sean to make a mistake.
Yeah, absolutely. No, they're doing some great racing here at the minute, and all going rather well.
Yeah, I will say it's been a great battle up here for Pro. Now James Pierce has kind of run off into the sunset in AM.
He has. Has indeed. He's doing very well.
But Kevin Brooks, you know, really what a drive that he's put together to come from the back of Pro to now being all over the back of Sean Campbell, as Campbell actually gets a little bit squirrely coming out of turn 2. Down this long straight, Kevin's got to run.
Kevin does have a run.
Yep, Sean blocks off the inside, says if you're going to go around the outside. Kevin looks for the over-under, but he's not close enough. Kevin just applying the pressure to Sean. Sean going to be able to put up with it, though.
Not sure.
So just looking back through the field, looks like everybody else pretty much spread out at the moment. So the battle for the lead, that is the hottest battle on the track at the moment. So about 3 car lengths separates Kevin Brooks and Sean Campbell.
Does indeed.
See what Kevin can do. If he can get a good run here out of the last corner, and he does get a good run. See the power of that BMW, he just keeps that gap right where it is. BMW actually pulling away a little bit down the straightaway. That BMW just has so much power. So Kevin Brooks just stalking at the moment, keeping the pressure on, hitting his marks. Doesn't really look to be forcing the issue right now. Sean actually runs a bit wide there at the exit of 3. Now Kevin closes right on the back of him. A little bit of ebb and flow between these guys. You know, BMW's a little quicker in some spots. Looks like the Corvette, you know, better under braking. Sean runs wide. He's off track. Kevin Brooks goes right on by, says, "Thank you very much. I will take that." He's off into the sunset.
I think I'm back with you, Casey.
All right, you good, Harry?
I don't know what happened there. Sorry to be on a side note, but they're doing some work on cables and things and internet around in my area, and I think someone's, shall we say, sawn through the wrong wire because things are weird. Weird things are happening. So I'll if I disappear off into the sunset, it either means that that's happened, or I don't know, I've been hit by a meteor or something. But I'll try and get myself back up and running here for the last 12 minutes of this race. As we see Tom all over the back of the Ford of Eric Kalaga, and Mac Miller's all over the back of Sean Campbell, really pushing that Porsche through the kink there. And he gets turn 1 completed, all okay on that end.
Yeah, Sean ran wide there. I believe that was turn 5 or 6. And really just coughed the lead up to Kevin Brooks, and that brought Mac Miller all over the back of him now. But now Mac runs wide in 3. I'll let Sean get away from him just a little bit. So good race up here in Pro, though, all in all.
Very much so. They're having a good old scrap up there, which is good to see.
Yep. Really the same really can't be said for AM right now. 6-second gap back between James Pierce and Michael Kalaga. Blake Scott another 4 seconds back off of Michael, so they're pretty well spread out throughout the AM, you know, except for that battle going on between Thomas Fisher and Eric Kalaga here. Now you see Thomas Fisher only about a car length and a half, 2 car lengths back off the back of that Ford.
I think Matt Miller just had a bit of a moment there. I think he put a couple of wheels onto the dirt and didn't do him any favours.
Back and check. He did at Canada Corner. Right at the exit of Canada Corner. Looks like he went to grab for the gas just a little too quick. And shot the car out wide. Definitely lost a little bit of time there to Sean because of that. Yeah, the back of that Porsche looks pretty lively there.
And we see BMW on the back of the Ford. I haven't got anything for him. He's closing. He looks out for the slipstream.
Yeah.
Get the job done.
Job done. And I believe we got a battle here between Steven Martinez and Mark Scott potentially brewing. Or did Mark get that pass done? I believe Mark might have gotten by him. All right, so the closest battle on track at the moment looks like Thomas Fisher and Eric Kalaga. Thomas kind of riding off into the sunset with that spot, though. Yeah, everything's pretty much spread out at the moment now. Sean Campbell way out of shape coming out of the last corner there. Definitely doing everything he can to get to the back of Kevin Brooks, but I just don't know if he's going to have enough to get there. The gap at 1.7 seconds at the line. Those two did pretty much identical lap times last time by, and there's only a handful of minutes left, so Sean's going to need a little bit of help in order to get back up there. And, forgive me for the silence, just kind of looking through the field here. James Pierce a little bit out of shape there in turn 3. Still pushing that car to the very limits of control, even though he's got a massive lead over Michael Kalaga here. Gap still about 6 seconds there. But still, and again, that's James. He never takes his foot off the accelerator, always gives 110%.
As fast as some of the pros out there.
He really is. He is as fast as some of the pros here. It's the problems with the inconsistent. I think that's where he tends to struggle just a little bit, because with him it's either checkers or wreckers most of the time.
Oh, sliding out so very. I don't know. It's like that car's on a raggedy edge constantly, and it's never settled. And he's just consistently thinking about can I stamp my foot on the throttle in this particular apex and at this particular time. And it's always at the time when you're just coming out of the apex.
Yeah, weaving back and forth on the front stretch. I wonder if he was trying to clean the tires off. But yeah, oh, good Lord, James, what are you doing? You got a 6-second lead, man.
I don't think he understands what that means.
No, he doesn't. I think that's... You never have to worry with James about whether or not he's giving it his absolute all, but it does have a tendency to bite him.
Yeah, it'll bite him too. I think it'll bite him too quickly, though.
Yeah. Yeah. One thing that sticks out to my mind was Montreal last year, or last season, I should say. Forget if he was in the Corvette or the Porsche. He was coming out of one of the corners, and the car was almost 90 degrees in the wrong direction. Somehow managed to save it, to keep it out of the wall. And that, to me, that just sums up James right there. He's always on that ragged edge.
Yeah, but where he not needs to be, though. Like, he's in the lead,
No.
and he's got a comfortable lead now. And all he has to do is bring the car home. And I guarantee he's probably losing more time now that he's sliding.
Yeah, well,
I mean,
because those rear tires got to be...
Oh, yeah,
just
absolutely. Molten.
melting. Once you get the heat in the rear tires, I mean, that's it. Corvette, that's game over.
Yeah, because it's exceptionally difficult to scrape the heat off, and once they get heated up, it's kind of it's like a boiler.
Yeah.
With a blanket over it. It's not the easiest thing to stop boiling once you've started it.
No. Yeah, I know. We drove the Corvette for Sebring, me and James Howard and Jacob Schneider. Remember those guys from season 1? And that was one of the most difficult things about the Corvette was having to temper how I drove the car, because once you built the heat in the tires, it was over. You couldn't control it. So.
And that is Brent Vervada demonstrating what heating the tires will do.
Oh no.
What
happened here?
He has gone for a trip of the grass, and the car just went around and absolutely gunned it.
Caught just a little bit of that dirt, like with the left rear tire, and it just absolutely spun the car like a top. Steven Martinez off. What happened to Steven? Looks like he just ran wide. Yep, ran wide at 4. Not hit anything though, just ran through the kitty litters a little bit.
I mean, to be fair, as soon as you also get it stuck in the gravel, I imagine the tires are not going to like you for at least 3 or 4 laps.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. Yeah, it definitely takes a while to get all that, the marbles, gravel, and all the dirt and everything off. Get the grip back where it needs to be. Especially if you break it loose or something coming back onto the track or something, and heat the other tires up, you're just amplifying everything.
Yeah, and if you get one tire in specifics, I know this from experience now, if you get one tire absolutely dead cold from grass, for instance, especially if it's overcast, the weather temperature does not match the surrounding area beside it. I know they fixed it to an extent so that it's not just a sheet level of ice, but you know, you'd still get the situation where you can actually have double-digit temperature change from one set, like about a dozen, 2 dozen in some extreme cases, where the ground temperature is like something like 20-ish degrees, and the track temperature is something like 45, 46. Especially, you get that a lot actually in Le Mans. Circuit de la South, where the track temperature going down Mulsanne. Oh, by the way, that's Kevin Brooks winning the race.
Kevin Brooks comes across the line. He takes race 2. Sean Campbell in second. Mac Miller is going to round out the podium in pro.
And
James Pierce
somehow brings the car home. He has not killed it. But I tell you, those were some nail biting moments. He definitely drove that car.
Yes. Yeah. I've seen quite a few nail biting moments from him. You know, having driven a couple of races with him, you know, especially if you ever watch him drive like a P1 or a P2, it'll stand the hair up on the back of your neck.
Oh yeah, it's
He's
spooky.
extremely quick, but oh man.
He drives the car and then some.
Yes, he does. So, hats off to him. Managed to recover, get the win here in race 2. Doing a little bit of a burnout here.
I will let the results scroll across the screens. It'll be fine. I just want to see the. Well, I was going to see the. Yeah, we're seeing the donuts now. There we go.
All right, so Kevin Brooks, Sean Campbell, and Mac Miller, they are your finishers in pro. James Pierce, Michael Kalaga, and Blake Scott, they're your podium finishers in AM. Thomas Fisher, Eric Kalaga, Errol Uriksoy, and Mark Scott. Andrew Houston comes home 11th overall. 12th overall, Steven Martinez. 13th overall, Brent Bavada, John Casey. And your 2 cars that did not finish, Daniel Tenorio and Taylor Lane, both.
I feel so bad for Taylor.
Oh, he has had some horrible luck. It's
insane. It's insane. It's just like it just gets into a race like, right, I'm gonna have some fun today. And it's just like, nope, that's not happening.
No. I do. I feel gutted for him because, you know, just about every time he has a good race going, it's always that sense of what's going to go wrong this time.
Oh yeah.
So.
Well, I think that's it for us, Casey, this week. Harry's not here, so I'll be Harry for about 5 minutes. Well, I think that's it for us this week, guys. Hopefully you have enjoyed. We will be back with. What track is it again?
I do not know. I was not prepared for that.
Let me cheekily just look at the season 2. It is going to be a endurance Sebring, then Monza for 230 minutes, and then a Le Mans endurance. So, you know, do take care, guys. Stay safe out there. It's getting hot. You know, get your AC cranked up to 11 if you have AC. I'm not jealous. But until Sebring endurance, take care, guys. Have an awesome Wednesday evening, Thursday morning if you're like me. And yeah, see you soon.